Okay, we are live. Welcome to my first stream of Dyson Sphere Program. Obviously, I'm very new to this, so we're going to give this our best shot, see how this goes. New to streaming, not to the game. I have too many hours, frankly, in this. Let's see what it says I have so far. Oh, it's not going to tell me. I'm guessing north of 75 at this point. So we're going to just push over into the game proper here. There we go. So yeah, we're doing okay. I thought I'd take this opportunity to kind of show people a little bit of what I've learned so far, what I'm working on, and I not talked with specifically, but I heard on Sky Storm stream recently that he thought people were kind of hitting a wall with the green science. And it's definitely where I hit the wall with my last game. You'll notice I have first, second test from when I managed to crash game, and then third. So on my third playthrough right now, I have about 25 hours in this one. What do we have in about 41 hours in the second, about 3 hours in the first. So I don't know what that is together, but that's about where we're at. So let's just hop into it and take a look at what's going on. My goal is to, I think, kind of walk through a little bit of what I've learned, help you avoid those mistakes if you're a new player, and kind of see how far we can get. I know that the objective of this game is ostensibly to actually build a Dyson Sphere. I'm going to turn the audio down just a little bit more on the ambient and the sound effect itself. Make this a little bit more manageable for my ear holes here. Okay. So we're doing okay over there. Let me just actually pull up a different dashboard right here. Okay. I think we're doing okay. Alrighty, so let's get into it. Okay. So, a few things that we have going on right now. Product stacking, never a good sign. Why is this just not? Okay, well, first things first, we gotta upgrade that. Whoops. I will note that the devs for this game are fantastic. They've come up with a lot of quality of life features just in the past 10 days or so that I've been playing, which have been hugely helpful for anyone who wants to play this game with the level of seriousness with which I think a lot of us have taken to it. So let's just kind of give you a tour of the place. I'm trying to already kind of just recalibrate where I am. That's not running because that's full. Okay, so I need to go down here, go a little bit more towards kind of where my home base is on this. So feel free to let me know too how audio is going. As I said, this is the first time I've streamed this so far. So if there is any weird audio, I'm happy to fix that. I'm not a big streamer, so we're gonna see how it goes here and give this a shot. Oh, and shit, my energy is already depleting here. Okay. Why can I not see my energy? There we go. Okay, I was getting a little bit of the stream cut off there. Okay, so first things first, I need to refuel up. So just kind of want to walk through a little bit of the premise of the game if you're not familiar with it, and then kind of share how far I've gotten. So premise of the game, right? The goal ostensibly is to build this Dyson Sphere. You do this by going through your tech tree here. There's a ton of different stuff. You can kind of get a sense of, again, kind of where I'm at right now as far as the tree goes. And you want to progress along this main quest line here until you get to mission completed here, which I think involves you creating, these white matrices. So if you've played a game like Factorio, I think it's the most obvious one that comes to mind. It's very much like Factorio. What I like about this game specifically is that it gives you a little bit more of an objective that you're looking for here. That's been really helpful for me. I feel like I have something towards which I am working. That being said, I haven't really done any of the main quest lines so far. I'm completing these, obviously, but I intentionally decided I did not want to build my Dyson Sphere in my home solar system. I want to look for a larger planet specifically, a larger star rather, that we can build on, and a brighter star. So something to note, if you go here, you look at this luminosity, this is going to directly relate or correlate to how much energy your Dyson Sphere captures. So something that I would like to do is actually go over here to this blue giant star. Look at that luminosity. It's over 2 times as much as what we had in our last our home star here in our home system. And so that's something that I'm planning on doing. The other notable thing about this start and this seed specifically, the fact that there's a black hole and a neutron star within 4 light years. So if you want to check out the seed I'm on right now, you can see it's right here. This is your seed for this specific game. If you go to your new game, actually here, let's just do it right now. We'll save this really quickly and we'll go check it out. So what did that say? 41231637. I'm not going to remember what that was, but if we quit this game really quickly and we go over to our new game, you'll see right up here, this is your cluster seed. Was it 41231637? I don't know, something like that. Is that it? I don't think that's right. But point being, you can directly change the cluster and the capabilities of your solar system. So you'll see in this case, there's one neutron star right there and one black hole right there. Other things you can do is number of stars. So I actually have a mod installed that lets you go to a full 1064. That's absurd. I would probably not recommend that. I'd actually pull back a little bit, and I believe that my starting system is 64. So I believe the support for this mod only goes up to 64. But definitely worth taking a look at. Got some ideas on mods from Biffa's strategy channel. That's been great to watch him. Learned some few great tips there. Biffa and Sky are kind of the two guys I've been watching to learn a little bit more about this game. Sky's this great series that he's been doing with kind of uncommon tips and tricks that I've definitely learned from. So go check that out if you haven't seen that already. Other thing that I might recommend doing is this resource multiplier slider. So you can go all the way from half if you want to give yourself a bit of a challenge to infinite. If you want to nitpick, it's not technically infinite, and I can show you that in a second, but realistically, for the amount of duration, the amount of time that anyone's going to be playing this game, it's infinite. And I think this is actually the biggest reason that I chose to restart into the third round. I had about 45 hours in my second game. I was doing really well, but I was noticing that all my resources on my home planet were actually starting to flame out, right? Starting to exhaust resources. And I think for a lot of people that can be really fun. But for me and for my sense of progression, I realized I was going to have to spend a lot of time basically just going out and finding things, finding resources that I'd already found, or building out resource collection mechanisms that I'd already done. And I realized that that wasn't the part of the game that I really enjoyed. So I wanted to actually restart with infinite resources. The other thing that I wanted to do was restart on a specific seed. So I wanted to kind of walk through why I chose this seed. I honestly just found this on Reddit. They have a nice Dyson Sphere Program, rather, subreddit that's really helpful if you're just getting started with the game. But they have a list of seeds that they've enjoyed, and this is one of the seeds that I found after kind of testing it out, just looking at it for a little bit. I decided this is one I wanted to go with for a few reasons. One, if you look at the planet setup, you have kind of our singular planet here orbiting this ice giant here. Then you also have Alchiba 1 and Alchiba 2. So I actually picked this seed for Alchiba 2. It's tidal locked, so it has perpetual day and night. One side of the planet is always day, the other side of the planet is always night. To me, that just seems like a really cool opportunity. A lot of people are doing equatorial belts of solar panels in this game. I've seen some really cool stuff done there. I thought it'd be really neat to do an entire hemisphere face of solar panels on a tidal locked planet. So that's what I've been working on Algebra 2. That comes with some other pros and cons, which we can get into in just a second. But the whole concept of the planet, to me, I thought would be really interesting if we just had an entire face of this planet that was generating energy. One not so great aspect about this seed, though, as it comes to your kind of beginning energy, and I think this is the trade-off here, is that the planet that you start on, Algebra 4, is a horizontal rotation satellite. And so you'll notice that what that kind of ends up showing you is that the planet is actually rotating. The way that its axes are turned is it's not rotating the same way that the Earth would rotate around the star. And where that becomes a bit of a hassle is that if you start on a regular seed, and if you don't change that seed, I believe that the game intentionally starts you with a planet that is not horizontal rotation. And what can be beneficial about this is that you can build a whole group of solar panels right at the poles, and you'll know that you will get some charge while you do that. Alternatively, you can build at the equatorial belt, and you know that you will always get some charge. I don't think that's the case for a horizontal rotation planet. And if you are in the chat and you know more about horizontal rotation planets, please let me know. I could be totally off base on this. But what I noticed is when I built, you'll see that right now it looks like the North Pole. I mean, you can't really tell, but one of the poles is actually, wait, 1 second, maybe you can't tell. Yeah, so one of the poles, the red one, I don't remember if that's the north or the south, but the red pole here is completely facing the sun, right? Well, you'll notice if you go over to this other pole, this is where I originally built just a basic solar array, right? Now it's totally in the dark. So the poles do not always consistently receive some level of sunlight. And I don't believe the equatorial belt consistently always receives some either. I mean, it's an equatorial belt, right? If you actually put all of the solar panels all the way around the planet, some of them will be receiving some light. But I just didn't really love that solution. And so I was trying to go for something more pole-based. You can't do that with a horizontal rotation planet. So please keep that in mind if you want to go with the seed, because it does make the early game energy issues a little bit more frustrating. And I think that's definitely something that if you're just kind of getting started on this game, just be prepared to know that the early game energy can be a little bit tricky. And that's why I would definitely advise kind of keeping your options open, specifically with wind. There's a great post on the subreddit recently about how wind power is great even in the late game. I 100% agree with that. If you go over to Alchiba 1, which is where I have kind of, it's my lava planet, reverse rotation, tons of minerals, great stuff, right? Unfortunately, you'll notice that the coal is only 5 or 6 realistically. G's, is that millions? I don't know what G stands for, but point being, it's only 1 deposit of coal for the entire planet. And in this case, the limit is not on the quantity of resources, but on the literal number of extractors that you can fit around that coal deposit. And what I realized is that I could not mine coal fast enough on that planet to support all of my mineral extraction efforts in other areas of the planet. So I have, frankly, just an absurd amount of wind and solar on this planet just to keep my coal plants firing. And they're burning graphene, they're not burning coal itself, but even so, it was just not enough to truly power the planet. So keep that in mind. That may be something that you run into as you play on this seed, if you're interested. So other things we mentioned as to why I picked the seed was the location of the neutron star and the black hole. As you get farther in the game, in the tech tree, what you'll find is that you have to build some pretty crazy stuff, right? So we were talking earlier about how a lot of people have a tendency to kind of hit a wall at your green matrix. This is purple. This one, really not too bad if you look at what you have to build. You may already be kind of close to that already, but this one, the green one, the gravity matrix, yeah, this one can be rough. So what starts to happen as you get into the mid and the late game is you get these alternative recipes for things. So you'll see over here, you have your regular diamond recipe, which is one of your energetic graphite. I think I said graphene earlier, I meant graphite, but you have one of your energetic graphite, directly correlates 1-to-1 with diamonds. We also have this alternate option for diamonds, which is smelting them directly by finding this kimberlite ore. So you'll see that there's kind of several of these that have these alternate option. Particle containers specifically, you are going to need a metric butt ton of particle containers in the late game. Not only are they used for things like deuterium fuel, oh, I totally lied, they're not used for deuterium fuel, they're used for, what else was it? Oh, I don't have it unlocked yet on this save, that's why. They're used for strange matter, I believe. Yep, strange matter. Yeah, and strange matter ends up becoming really important for green cubes. Gravity matrix, you need 2 of them, you need 10 deuterium. It can be kind of a mess, but these are a little bit of a pain if you don't have a really good motor setup here, or turbine setup. And so what originally encouraged me, honestly, to start the whole game over was to find a source of unipolar magnets. Unipolar magnets are only found, to the best of my understanding, at neutron stars or black holes. So that was a big emphasis for me in terms of why I thought I might want to play near one. And also, to be frank, I think it sounds really cool to be able to get to a black hole or to get to a neutron star. And as I said, I love this game. I think it's phenomenal. I have 70-something hours in it. I think the devs are doing great for early access. But I also know that, if it was all the way out on the very edge over here, like with this group of O-type stars, what are the chances of me actually getting out there to see it? So I wanted to kind of put some of the coolest stuff closest to me to make sure that I'd be able to get out to those things and see them and enjoy them as part of the game. So that was kind of a little bit of my methodology around why I chose where I chose to actually start the game. Overall, it was closeness to black hole, neutron star, closeness to this blue giant. This is where I plan on building my Dyson Sphere, going to this system, and having a decent starting system that I could focus on too, as far as some interesting characteristics of planets within the starting system. So all that said, let's actually jump into the game right now, right? So it's been 15 minutes, maybe we can start. So I want to show you around a little bit, give a sense of kind of where I started, what's going on so far, and kind of what the immediate next steps are. So this is kind of the original starting point for my planet. I'm still going to turn this audio down a little bit. I don't know if it's too high for y'all, but it's a little bit too high for me. So I'm going to turn this down to 30 for both of these and see if that helps. Okay, definitely better. Oh, there we go. I'll tab out that a little bit. Alt enter so I can see my energy. Why is my energy actively? Oh, you know what? It's because I have no fuel. That's why. All right, where am I storing all of my energetic graphite here? So this is the other thing about the mid game. If you're not familiar with the game itself, again, if you're on the fence, first of all, it's $20. As I said, you know, you can spend your $20 on a movie. Well, I guess these days you probably can't do that, but I think this is kind of be one of your best value purchases in terms of the amount of time that I've gotten out of this. If you like this kind of game, it's definitely worth it. So I would highly recommend picking it up now if you want to. But what I mentioned is, so the cool thing about this that I don't believe comes up as much in Factorio, and if you're in the chat and you are a Factorio person, please prove me wrong, because I haven't played Factorio in quite a while. But the other part of this is actually taking care of your mech itself. So you'll notice when I popped into the tech tree, it has a tendency to boot me to this upgrades panel versus technologies. So there is this whole tech tree, right, for things you can unlock to build. But there's also this whole tree of upgrades that you can upgrade your actual mech itself. So you'll notice that kind of just going along the lines here, you have your universe exploration up at the top, which lets you see out into the universe more. And you have this whole set of upgrades around making yourself go faster, giving you more kind of core power, your max energy. You can hold more. These drones are how you actually build things, so that's a huge upgrade, honestly. Upgrading your control to include more drones or to include a faster flight speed for your drones is huge. Energy circuit is upgrading your max kind of fuel load, or how much energy you can actually take in. Then you also have your drive engine, which is how you fly around the planet, but also how you escape the gravitational pull of your planet to go to other planets. So all this stuff is really, really critical, and it's all tied to the different research matrix cubes. So matrix cubes you unlock over the course of the game. The first one that you unlock is blue. You unlock that kind of directly as part of the main quest, but then everything else you can kind of unlock on your own time. There are, I think right now, again, probably still some balance tweaks to be done in kind of the early mid-game barrier. You'll notice that if you pop into something like this, blue unlocks a fair amount for you, but to really get anything serious done, you have to also have your red cubes. Red cubes, again, relatively basic. You just need hydrogen and energetic graphite, but still, that can take a little bit of time. I think where it really gets a little bit funky right now is with the yellow cubes. That's not them. Yellow cubes are structure matrix. So yellow cubes can be a little bit tricky to build. The titanium diamonds, or whatever they are in particular, they typically require you to go to another planet beyond your starting planet. They also need organic crystals, which you have to make out of plastic, which you have to make out of oil. So there's like a lot to be done for yellow. But then yellow also unlocks like almost everything else. So it's a little bit crazy. You need yellow for any of the interstellar or planetary logistics systems. Quick note, if you haven't played this game and you need to understand kind of how to get stuff around, planetary is moving things just on your current planet, whereas interstellar lets you move things between planets. It seems obvious when you're looking at it like this, but it's not always obvious if you're not actually reading the descriptions. So something to keep in mind there. That was actually another big reason I ended up restarting, is that I have definitely built out my base a little bit differently now, knowing that I will eventually convert everything to planetary logistics. And as luck would have it, that's basically exactly where we've caught up. I just unlocked logistics yesterday. That's interstellar logistics here, and planetary. They take a while to build. If you look at what you actually need to build those things, I didn't have the second level of turbines for the particle container. I had to build out a processing plant on my lava planet, so it took me a while to get those done. Or what was I talking about? Oh yeah, mech. So you need to supply fuel to your mech for it to continue moving. Again, this is what I was talking about with the mid game. So right now you can move graphene or graphite. Jesus, I'm gonna mix that up a lot, but energetic graphite I think is kind of the main fuel that people use up until you get something like hydrogen or deuterium rods. In my second run, I used graphene, honestly, the whole time until I got the deuterium rods. And then once you switch over to deuterium rods, you basically never worry about fuel again. So it's kind of this pretty abrupt change as you go from mid to late game that I think maybe takes people a little bit by surprise. So let's talk about a few other things. You'll notice right now that I have not as much hydrogen as I wish I had, but I'll live with it. Let me upgrade that really quickly. I want to upgrade those pipelines and get these tanks filled up a little bit here. So hydrogen and refined oil over here are both really valuable resources. So let's take a step back here and start from the beginning and kind of work our way through the different fuel types and different cube types, and then we'll get a sense of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So this was kind of the first section of the base that I built out. I'm not building anything right now. Why am I losing this much energy? It feels like a lot right now. Maybe I'm just going crazy. If you hover over this little arrow here, you can see where you're actually generating and consuming fuel. So if you notice that your fuel is going down pretty quickly, that could be a helpful thing to see. I should also check my power. This is the P key right there. That can be helpful. You can pull up all sorts of stats about your planet. Power is where I spend the vast majority of my time. Some people love to min-max this game. I have a complete amount of respect for the dedication that it takes to do that. Personally, that's not how I like to play the game. I kind of find some set patterns where I understand that I'm at a roughly 2-to-1 input-output or something like that, and that's kind of how I build. So we'll get into that in a little bit, but you can see like right here, my iron ore consumption here is probably being capped by production. Actually, you're going to basically see that across the board. At the exception of iron ingots, I'm outproducing what I'm consuming, so I'm actually creating excess there. Same with the copper. So power is where I spend most of my time. You can see on the planet I have a pretty solid consumption here, but it's being completely dwarfed for my generation. If you can, over-generate power. It just makes life so much easier, and specifically, one nice thing you can do here is chain your power stations together. Thermal power stations are going to be most, honestly, frankly, it's probably your early all the way out to late game until you get deuterium powered nuclear stations. But what you can do with these guys, which is really nice, is you can actually chain these together. So I don't know if you can see I didn't do it here so it's a little bit tricky. I'm actually gonna rip all this out because I don't think I'm using these and they don't look like they're working very well. So let's just do that for the time being. Not really doing anything. So with power, let me see if I can find a power plant that I set up that's designed better. Here we go. Okay, so my hydrogen power plant is designed a little bit better. So this is the really cool thing you can do with power here. You can actually chain these. So if you try to set down a power station, let's do it right now. Take a look. As you can see, there's 3 inputs on one side and 2 inputs on the other side. What you can do with this is actually build it here. I actually have them flipped for some reason. It doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. But what you can do is use like a heavier duty sorter here, like an MK3 or an MK2 even. Then use the lower level sorters to actually move from one power station to another. So you'll see that this can only hold a maximum of 10 hydrogen at a time. And so it's actually passing hydrogen all the way down the chain. And these will refill fast enough that you can basically run one line of whatever your input fuel is and fuel, frankly, just a ton of power stations off that. So that's been really helpful for me in terms of designing power plants and something to keep in mind. Where this becomes an issue, if your fuel input dies or you run into issues here with lack of resources, your power can fall, and it can fall pretty fast, and it can be really hard to get it restarted, because what you're doing is you're assuming that this one station will have enough fuel to pass on to the rest of the stations. You're also assuming that your sorter here is operating at 100% power. So what happens, and this is kind of where you can enter an energy death spiral, so definitely something to keep in mind. It's plagued me a lot every single round, honestly. I should know better by now, but where I've run into issues is with your power supply starting to go down. Potentially you overbuild, maybe you run into a resource issue, maybe you just didn't run a right power line or something. But as your power decreases, what's going to happen is whatever mineral extraction you're doing for your power, your fuel source here, that's going to start slowing down, right? So you're going to be producing less hydrogen or less graphene or whatever it is that you're burning. Graphite. I'm going to work on that. You're producing less of your fuel resource. You're also pulling in slower, so you're getting less of your fuel resource into your original power station. And then you're also getting less of your fuel source into all of your subsequent power stations in the chain. So it kind of has this exponential effect, and it can make it really tricky to recover from that type of power loss. That's why you'll notice that as I move around, I still have a ton of wind. Honestly, wind power is awesome. It's super easy to make. You'll notice that all it takes is iron and copper. You can assemble this yourself in your replicator. And what's nice about this is you plop them, forget about them, right? And they're going to generate some solid power, provided you have a planet that has a fair amount of wind strength here. I've never found a planet, honestly, that doesn't have at least 100% wind energy ratio. I mean, I'm sure they exist. I think this one, oh, there you go. Perfect example. So actually on Anshiba 2, less wind power, more solar panel power. So something to keep in mind. And then on Anshiba 1, wind power is actually only 70, solar's 134. See, that would have been good to know. I put a ton of solar panels on that planet, or rather windmills. So I probably would have had to spend less time if I'd been placing solar panels instead. But, should I have done an equatorial belt here? Probably. But with lava planets, you have to spend so much on the foundations that can get to be a pain pretty quickly. Okay, so what am I doing? Let me start something working while we're talking here, because otherwise it's going to take us forever to get through the rest of our research. So we're going to go through, where the heck am I? Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I still don't know the space as well as I should. I'm getting there, but we need to go over here to this interstellar station. I'm going to pull actually as many of these out as can fit my inventory. Can I fit all of them? Awesome. Okay. So then I'm going to go over here. So this is kind of a helpful tip I've found personally is it's okay to make temporary stations. This game is designed for you to kind of rip out all of your old stuff and switch over to new stuff pretty quickly. So long term, I'm actually going to totally change how I do all of my cube manufacturing and create kind of a centralized matrix for the actual research. So something interesting to know, and this game will tell you pretty quickly, but if you hop into your guidebook, it's the G key, it'll run you through matrix labs. What they recommend doing, and I also recommend doing this because it's just by far the best way to do this, is use one set of matrix labs to actually produce. What is that thing in the background? I've never seen that before. Interesting. Do y'all see that? If you go, yeah, this little thing, I have no idea what that is. Oh, if anyone knows, let me know, because it looked cool. I want one. But so you actually use these science labs or these matrix labs for two different purposes. One, you use them to actually generate the cubes themselves. So if I hop out here, you can see I have these matrix labs stacked to be taking in resources and generating these structure matrix cubes, the yellow cubes. But you also use them to actually generate science itself. As you'll see over here, I have labs with 3 different cube inputs. And these are actually generating the science that I need to push my upgrades through. So right now, I'm currently working on an upgrade for the logistics carrier engine. This upgrade is pretty huge because it affects both logistics drone flight speed and logistics vessel flight speed. I believe that only happens, so you have to get to the 3rd level for that to happen, but that's a big deal. I can explain why in just a second. But overall, what this means is that you can actually decouple locations for these two things. If you play this game, that's going to be something that you want to kind of plan for ahead of time, is these interstellar and planetary logistics stations completely change how you think about resource management in the game. Up until you get these, resource management is dependent on location, and these completely separate your location from your resource generation. So what I've done right here is I needed most, if not all, of these things: steel, iron, copper, electromagnetic coils. Is that what these are? Magnetic coils and circuit boards to create my blue cubes. But now what I've done is I've actually run them all into these boxes, and I've run them into this interstellar logistics station. So now not only can I move them all around the solar system, I can actually move them all around the planet as well. So if I wanted to build blue cubes anywhere on the planet, it would be very easy for me to do that just by plopping down a planetary logistics station and pulling them out right there. It's something where you can kind of move your resource production to the area of the resource itself, and then send it into a planetary logistics station and pump it out near the rest of those resources. So something huge to keep in mind. Other thing I'm planning on doing is localizing all of my matrix production and then just making one larger research station, probably on one of the poles, to be honest with you, because you'll notice that I kind of ran these excessively long lines. The blue is all kind of in the same starting area here. But for red, you'll notice that my hydrogen production is done all the way over here. There are some pretty huge oil fields on this map. You can see right here, oil, 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 oil. So I made a huge production line of my oil refineries kind of right at the head of the oil fields as it came into my base, or my starting base. It was helpful at the time. And it's still helpful, frankly. I think one of the biggest mistakes you can make when playing this game early on is by not consuming enough oil or localizing your oil production into the areas where you are actually finding the oil. I would not recommend that personally. It creates a serious issue later in the game when you have massive need for hydrogen and you have massive need for refined oil. So personally, I decided to just go hard originally on my refinery, and that's paid off huge dividends. So what I did for the refinery over here is I actually have 3 different lanes. I want to upgrade all of these. I don't have enough of those belts. Do I have enough stuff with me? No. Okay, well, we'll do that shortly. But I have a few of these lanes. They're all MK2's belts. But what I'm trying to do is basically make sure that all of my oil refineries are distributing out in a way that lets me actually push this stuff through. That's interesting. They're all jammed, so oh well, who cares? So really what I'm trying to find a way is to kind of take 6 or 7 or 8 different oil refineries and get all of the oil rigs, oil production, I don't know what these things are called, oil extractors. Make sure that all the oil coming from these 7 or 8 or 9 different oil extractors can get into the actual refineries. I took advantage of the fact that you can use 3 different belts to input on these refineries, and I set that up. So I have a huge line there. Other thing I did is I split out the oil and the hydrogen right at the base. So the nice thing about this is it's so loud. I'm sorry, I'm taking a step back here. But what I did was you can basically build a belt just in between every 2 of these because you can have one on the left and one on the right outputting to that belt. And then I split them out directly at the source here. And I sent hydrogen along one line and refined oil along the other line. And that's worked out really successfully for me so far. You'll see that you're not getting any backups here. It just makes life a lot easier. The other thing you can do is also set up your towers in between the 2 that don't have a belt on them, and that can be pretty handy as well. Although I will say you don't need to actually have these stretch all the way out to your input line, so you could easily put your towers in there as well if you chose to do so. A lot of options there. But you'll notice that I'm kind of over preparing on my hydrogen and refined fuel. This is getting clogged up. That's not a good sign. I don't know why. I guess it must be feeding into each of these enough that it's not running into actually store in these tanks, which is kind of obnoxious. I don't know. Can I upgrade this line as well and get that storing more in there? Let's try that and see what happens. I think that'll get more consistent storage in here. Yep. Okay. So I'm pushing into this container faster than I'm pulling out of it, so I'll start to be able to store in there, and because this is an MK3 line, then I can fill up here. Okay, we're good to go there. Fix that immediate problem. A lot of this game, you know, it's you spend a lot of time trying to make resources, and then all of a sudden you tip the scales pretty quickly. You have a ton of resources and no place to store them, so that can get a little challenging. I'm gonna come back over here. This is gonna be a pain in the ass until I fix this. Okay, so I think it makes more sense to do my yellow cube production just over here. I have diamonds right over across the river right here, and I have my titanium crystals right here. So what I'm actually going to do is, this doesn't look like it's doing anything right now anyway, so I'm gonna rip all this out. I have plenty of power right now if I don't keep messing around with this stuff, so I'm gonna just do that. I don't know, this was my original oil refinery. I'm wondering if it makes sense to just reroute all of this. I'm not routing much oil into it right now anyways. basically routing almost all the other oil out. I'm just gonna pull. Is that a full tank? That's not anything in that tank. All right, I'm just gonna do that. Sever the connection, let it use the rest of this oil. Actually, here, well, do that, and then I'll pop that oil in. Okay, so we'll at least get the rest of this out. What is our consumption? 130, 104. Okay, so I'll go add one more set over. I'm burning hydrogen over here. I don't love the fact that I'm doing that because I know the hydrogen is a pretty valuable resource, but I didn't love what I was doing over here either. You know, actually, maybe I'll go out one more level on these. Upgrade tool. This is a recent addition to the game. It's absolutely phenomenal. Major props to the devs for getting this set up. But you notice that what I'm doing here is I actually want to upgrade my MK1 sorters to MK2s here. I use MK3s on the origin belt for the energy sources that are closest to the belt, and then MK2s to pass them along the line. So I'm going to add in 2 more here as well. In the same alignment. Nope, that was the same alignment. There we go. Add in 2 or 3 here just to replace the ones that I pulled out, and then I'll hook them up here so they'll directly start pulling in fuel from this line. I think this line is an MK2 right now. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay. So we should be good to go there, and those are running again, and our capacity is up to 133. Cool. So what was I doing? Oh, yes. Let's move our yellow signs over here. Okay, so what you're seeing right now is I never built a proper yellow science facility. There's a bit of a wall that you hit once you shift over to yellow science where, wait, why is this? What is this upset about? No diamonds. Oh crap. I put my, that's why I put my titanium in my diamond set, and now I have all diamonds all the time. They're not diamonds, they're titanium crystals or something like that. I don't know, whatever. But the point being is that I messed up my inputs. This is exactly why you shouldn't do this, frankly. All right, so putting all of my titanium crystals in there, all of my diamonds in here. So this is the problem. I didn't have a titanium source on my starting planet. I don't think that most people do, frankly. So you have to go to a different planet to attain your titanium. In this case, I went over to Algebra 1, I think. Yep, the lava planet has plenty of titanium, but I had to bring it back manually and actually turn it into titanium alloy myself. Again, titanium alloy isn't even fully set up, but I was bringing back my titanium manually, and I was putting it in this chest over here and then using it to make titanium crystals, because to make titanium crystals you need both that and these organic crystals. And I set up a huge lab section over here to build my titanium crystals. I'm running my plastic, my organic crystals, my silicon, and my graphene, I believe this is. Yes, my graphene, all through labs over here. Is this all the way full? Oh, no, it's slowly filling up now. So then what I've been doing is basically running all these XX resources into my interstellar logistics station here. This is, again, I think one of the best ways to organize things here, in this game at least, is I like to build out kind of sets of production here, and then just shift all of the excess into my interstellar logistics station. This will allow you to pull these resources out not only on other planets, but even just around your local planet. Interstellar logistics stations will also function as kind of regular stations there, especially if you actually give them the logistics drones they needed. But that can be pretty huge if you're looking to do that originally and move stuff around. Build up one base here. You don't necessarily have to produce these things right here. Like this requires these titanium ingots and these organic crystals. Now that I've attached both titanium ingots here that I'm pulling from my other planet, and I have the organic crystals in storage here, I could actually build my titanium crystal manufacturing plant anywhere that I want. I probably want to upgrade these to the higher level sorters. I'm actually just going to do that right now. Upgrade all these to MK2s. So interestingly enough, I don't actually know if MK2s make these faster. There's something that MK2s do. I'm not 100% sure. Let me double check. I think that you have to wait until MK3 to actually make things faster. No, it is a 50% replicator speed. Okay, that's awesome. This is going to be really, really helpful, though, getting all the way up to the extra 50. You feel it. Okay, so this should increase the rate at which we are creating our titanium crystals here. What I would like to do is actually create my yellow matrix production right over here. I want to use the titanium crystals here. Shit, I'm gonna have to build. Does this take diamonds? No, it doesn't. So, okay, so I'm gonna build another planetary logistics station over here. Let's put it, it doesn't even make sense to put them on the lines, but I love to get them centered on the lines here. Makes me feel better. Okay, we'll just put maybe 10 of these guys in here. Okay, there we go. Let's give it some power. Oh, there's power literally right next to it. Okay, there we go. How are we doing on our power draw? That's going to hurt, but once it's fully powered up, then it'll be fine. So what we want to do here is just move our yellow cube production, and then I'm actually going to move all of my science production now that I mention it. So I'm going to start just pulling this stuff out, and we'll let it go. I mean, it's basically already done at this point because it's out of our diamonds. Chain dismantle, also another huge quality of life feature. They've really been crushing it on those, honestly, with this most recent update. The devs are awesome for this game. It's like 5 or 6 people, I think, based in China. They've been doing some really cool stuff with data-oriented programming that lets this game process almost entirely on the GPU. If you have any interest in that, we can definitely talk more about that. Let me know in the chat. But they're doing some really cool stuff to get this game play as well as it does, and it plays really nicely, I will say. So that's been huge for me. I've been enjoying that. Can I fit all these back in? Yes, I can. Cool. So then let's just not upgrade. Sorry, we want to remove rather. Pull all that out. Then we'll pull this out. And we'll pull this out. Okay, so we are now producing 0 yellow energy cubes or yellow matrix cubes over there. We're going to move all of that over here. Once I do that, I'm going to move all of my research to one of the poles. We're just going to drop that right in there while we have it, and then move over here. So I think, what was on this line? Oh, did I mess something up here? Why is this? Oh, yeah, that's going to be a problem, isn't it? Okay. You know what? I'm just going to rip all this out, I think. Yeah, I'm just going to rip all this out. My inventory's full. That was a mistake. All right, well, let's delete. I'm just going to delete all this, honestly, because I have more than enough. That's really big, honestly. Make sure that you don't have a full inventory when you're trying to do something productive. You're going to regret it. Oh, wait, what is that feeding? Ugh, this is where you get into trouble. That's going all the way down over here. Okay, so that was just feeding excess into the existing system anyways, so I don't worry about it. But yeah, if you have a full inventory, you're just going to lose everything. So make sure that you don't do that unless you want to be really intentional about that. Okay, so this one is coming down here. I'm just going to reroute this. Oh, this is old anyways. Okay, I'm gonna pull this out starting there. I'm just gonna run this line right down there. Cool. So now we're just gonna add it into our existing pipelines. I'm gonna pull all this out. Actually, I'm gonna use the bulk dismantle. It's awesome. Ooh, I want to make sure I can grab all that. So let me delete all this out of my inventory here. Apologies if my keyboard's a little bit clicky. I'm using a mechanical keyboard and it's getting picked up a little bit, but we'll pull that whole line out, which means we don't have to worry about going over or under. Oh my gosh, that would have made all of this so much easier. Oh well. Better late than never, right? Okay, so we pulled all that out. What are we? Okay, we're starting to see it fill up these tanks. Awesome. So I mentioned earlier, hydrogen is just such a valuable late game resource that I've gone out of my way to make sure that I can store any excess capacity. You want to keep all of it, trust me. So that's what we're doing here. All right, let's go back to our hub. So what I'm going to do after this is I'm going to relocalize some of the other science, and then I'm going to send this all into a local planetary logistics station. Because I'd like to be able to build a central science hub. And so that's what I'm going to do. I like to also keep those little boxes right there as kind of a local buffer. You don't really have to worry about that when you're, what do you mean collide with them? What else is there? There's nothing else there. Am I missing something? What? I can go in there just fine. Let's try this again. Come on. Okay. Built that. Okay. Sometimes you just get weirdness. Let's try a slightly different position for this. Where do we want to actually put the science stack? That's the real question. Maybe I'll move this a little bit closer, actually. And then we'll do our matrix right here. So my plan is to actually, now of course we need power. Okay, there we go. Oh, we can rip all this out too. Huh. Okay, cool. Wow, actually did a pretty bang up job over there. We're gonna need all these. Yeah, there's no way I can get rid of one of these, unfortunately. What happens if I do that? Do I lose? Yep, of course I lose power. Figured. Oh well, worth a shot. Okay, connect everything up there. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm going to run a line from this kind of extra box here. We're just going to run right. What is it's going to give me a hard time about running into the middle one. Maybe it's just the line I'm building on. You can get, as you get closer to the poles, you can get a little bit weird with those lines. Oh, one sec. Okay, so yeah, as you get closer to the poles, you kind of break down the grid structure a little bit, and I don't love this. I don't wanna die on that hill, frankly. Literally, I guess in this case. So we're gonna move this down because I want to be able to use all three of my little nodes there. Maybe I can put it right down here and not run into that issue. Okay, we'll just put it. I don't love this. You know what? Honestly, it's okay. We'll fix it later. Put our little energy right there, and then run our line. Probably run it down now. Even this. Oh, actually, here. There we go. We can run right into it. Awesome. And then we'll just lay one of our MK3 sorters down on here. I don't even have to. I can recover a little bit extra there. All right, so now we're running the diamonds in here. You have to make sure that you actually set it to accept that thing. Otherwise, the diamonds are just going to block up there until you tell your logistics station that it can accept diamonds. The other thing that we're going to want to run into this are the... Ooh, wait, what if we just... We could run the crystals through here instead. I'm gonna leave it. Especially because we might want to run our extra graphite. Actually, yeah, let's just do that right now because I think that we'll want to run graphite through there. Graphite can be kind of a pain to move around. Oh, it's coming out there. It's being produced through here. It's gonna be a mess, isn't it? Okay, so let's restructure this a little bit. I'm gonna want to put something, I think maybe here, run it through the side, run it out through the top, down through the bottom. Okay, so we're gonna run this out here and then run this down here. So the goal here would be to prioritize going out that way so we maintain our line of graphite. I think that is... Yeah, there we go. It's powering that. But what we want to do is run the excess up here and over. Come on. We can do this. We can do this. I believe in you. No, that's, you know what? This isn't even doing anything. Let's just move this. It's clearly not providing anything. Was that full MK2s? All right. It's going to back things up a little bit. Whatever. And then move this over. Okay. So now we don't have to worry about it. And we're going to run this along here, and I like to cinch these up a little bit. I know it's probably not the most productive thing to do because I'll end up having to move them shortly anyways, but we out here, and I have to set this to accept graphite. The last one I know that I'm going to want to do is these cubes. We don't have them yet, but I just want to reserve that slot because I know I'm going to want to do that. Okay. All right, so now we have our diamonds running in here. We have our titanium running in here. I think that's perfect opportunity to run two lines out and do a science stack over here. So we have the matrix cubes that we have here. Let me think about how I want to do this. Okay, let's pull out here, and we're going to take these guys. I want to come along. See there, that little notch right there? When possible, you want to build sideways. Actually, I'm already gonna, nope, we're gonna go through here. So yeah, so what I was saying earlier, you want to, when possible, build on latitudinal lines versus longitudinal lines. The reason for this is that you'll notice this little kind of kink in the line here. That happens when you're building across your longitudinal lines, the ones that go towards the poles versus around the equators. We don't want that because it messes up our configurations of things. So we're going to actually attempt to immediately shift our building sideways, so we don't have to deal with that. So I'm going to run this here. We're going to use this for our science production, and then we'll run a line through the back to output yellow cubes into this machine. So I like to stack these as high as I can. Whoa, that is really high. I didn't realize I'd already gotten up to that. Okay, lack of item. Yeah, I figured. You know, this will still be fine for now. I'm just gonna leave that extra space because honestly, who cares? It's keeping everything stored in the actual planetary stations themselves, so I don't have to worry about that too much. And then we'll run our output line right here. So we can run right down here, right through there, and right in for our yellow cubes. And we'll put these guys on. Boom. Okay, so now we just have to have power. I haven't unlocked the final power option yet, which is honestly pretty aggravating. The final power upgrade is pretty bomb. Oh, I have to set all these. Yellow, please. Yellow, please. Okay. Awesome. So we should very shortly be getting yellow cubes en masse in here. We have no drones in there. Let's fix this. So I'm curious about this. If anyone has run into this before, I have no idea what the optimal number of drones per station is. I've just been throwing 25 in them, to be honest with you. But I've heard that was the exact opposite of what I want to do. So I'm glad that I did that. So I've been throwing 25 in each of these, which I think is kind of like a nice round number to me. But if there's a better set to be doing this with, then please let me know. I've seen kind of people be all over the place a little bit on these, so if you have any recommendations, I'm more than happy to give those a shot. Let me add these back here. Boom. There we go. Okay. Are we doing okay with our titanium? All right, our titanium seems to be fine. The other thing I think can be helpful when you're starting out is these all default to 10,000. That can be a lot. Especially if you want titanium ingots, something like this, to go to multiple places on your planet. So I generally try to see how low I can get the storage in here, where we're still not running out, right? So that can be pretty valuable there. Do I have to make more labs? This one isn't getting any up there, so let's actually just pull that off the top there and add it over here. I think we might be in a good spot. There we go. Okay, cool. So we're producing yellow at a fairly nice clip there. All right, so let's go down here. We're going to add in another interplanetary station, and we're going to have the red and the blue funnel into that. So I'm actually going to rip out all of this stuff. We don't need this anymore because this was our yellow matrix. Oh, this feels actually really nice to clean all this up. I wish that you all had been here to see me going through the pain of setting all this up. You would maybe enjoy this a little bit more. But trust me, I'm really enjoying ripping all that stuff out. And we can actually even throw some hydrogen off this line into our local planetary logistics line if we wanted to do that. Actually might do that because that would be very handy to again, I'm all aboard the hydrogen train. You want as much of it as possible. So anytime you have the opportunity to load up something with more hydrogen, I recommend that you take this MK1 belt. Interesting. This is an old line. I wonder what this goes to. This goes to my red production. All right, I'm probably going to change that later anyways, to be honest with you. But at least for now, we have it here. We're going to set line priority to those red cubes. Now, I think these are fine on MK1 belts, honestly, because they don't go very fast. You know, the whole reason you would potentially change this would be, why is this going to give me a hard time? Don't do that. There we go. The reason you would potentially change this is if you have a pretty high output resource coming out of here. We don't in this case. We have kind of these science cubes. You'll see now we have these box buffers. which is great if you ever need to come back and just grab a ton. Although I have to say, you know, I think it was Biffa that talked about the box buffers. I do like the box buffers, don't get me wrong. I think they're helpful, but you can also just go in and grab as many as you want out of here. So, you know, it doesn't really end up becoming super valuable in the late game once you have these logistic stations. I think it totally makes sense prior to that. The buffer boxes are super valuable when you have your science matrix right there. You want to make sure you're retaining resources, but once you move over to the logistic station, it may be easier to literally just come through here, close your inventory, use control to pick up all of these. You can actually click onto more, pick up as many as you want, and then just straight dump them in there. They only hold 5,000. That's annoying. So I guess I'm not getting rid of my buffer box anytime soon. Oh well. But now we're fully stocked up on those, and I'm going to actually do the same for the blue, so we have enough. I think interplanetary must hold more. I think planetary just holds 5,000 of each, and interplanetary is 10,000. Yep, so it looks like to me. Okay, so we ran those three things through. Yep, okay, we're getting all three. I think we have, yep, and then we have our planetary over here, totally full up, even with our buffer boxes. Okay, so we're in a good spot. So now we can go to one of our poles and put all of our sciencey stuff on one of our poles. I like that a lot. I just like kind of designing around the poles. I think it ends up looking pretty nice. If you can find them, where am I going? Where am I even going right now? Let's speed up a little bit, because if I don't know where I'm going, I might as well get there faster. I'm not seeing any of the poles here, and I don't have my guidelines on. Oh, is this? Nope, this is right where we set this up. All right, I'm going to cheat. Just pull up my map and take a look. Oh, okay. So, oh yes, the solar structure. Do I want to rip this out right now? I'm at 130. I don't think I can. So I'm going to go to the other pole, which means I'm going to need to build a little more foundation, rock and steel. Okay, which means I need to go right back where I actually was and grab those things. Ooh, one thing that would be nice to do is I'm actually going to put one more interplanetary station over here, I think. This copper reserve, do I need it? Probably not, but I don't actually want to destroy it right now. Good tip here. You can use this veins restore. If you turn this off or to the opposite, you can actually bury those veins. So you could actually just completely disappear them or raise them back up if you want to do that. I'm glad that I now wasted all of my foundation to show off that trick, but you know what? It's worth it. That can be super helpful if you want to build over a vein. All right, let's just grab a little bit of this. We already have steel. You have to grab, I think it's like a 3-to-1 ratio on that, so you need way more. Yeah, it's a 3-to-1. All right, we're just gonna, I would love it if we're talking quality of life features to be able to go over 10x, maybe 100x would be nice, 50x I could take, but that would be nice. All right, so, you know, I think these things are useful. I personally, I've never used these. I think you want them for the Dyson Sphere. Shit. Okay, let's just drop that. Let's find out actually what you use them for. Use them for plasma exciters. Oh, those go into these things. Okay, yep, that makes sense. The other thing you use them for are photon combiners, and that's, okay, so that's for the Dyson Sphere stuff. Yeah, I haven't made any of these yet, but what I'm hearing over here is that I have glass, stone, whatever the heck these things were that we literally just talked on. What the heck are these called? Little prisms? Yeah, prisms. We're also creating, this is not an effective silicon production plant. I'm honestly debating if I would want to keep this, but I have a ton of resources here that are already doing this. There's no reason not to, honestly. So instead of putting in planetary, I'm actually going to put in interstellar here and potentially plop it. This is going to be some gross spaghetti. Maybe actually if I go over here, I like over here. It's going to be a little bit less gross. I can just run my lines across the sea here. Okay, so again, I don't mind having the buffer boxes. If I've already made them, it kind of feels to me like I might as well just keep them. Run this along here, and we'll just run right in there. So we decided in here we're going to do glass, we're going to do stone, we're going to do our prisms, we're going to do our silicon, and we're going to do our crystal silicon. Okay, so then we'll run, of course it's going to collide. Can I do it? Oh, can't do it there either. All right, let's run along the side here. Then we'll run up and over. Then I'll run This one too, just so we have something that looks a little bit not garbage. And I'm gonna have to stay a little. I don't think I can. Yep, can't get there. Okay, so there we go. And we'll run this up and over into there. I will say the pathing for lines into this guy can get a little bit rough. The game does the best that it can. I have to make some educated guesses there, but I have a tendency to kind of just pull manually and do it that way because it can be a little bit easier to just direct them in right there. Okay, as soon as we get power heading over to this thing, we should be in a good spot. There we go. Ooh, is this? Whoa, that's a lot. Okay, well, the good news is that once we draw the power, we'll be okay. The bad news is, what else is that going to screw up? I've not run into this issue. That's a vast amount of power drain. That's rough. I don't love that. All right, I'm just going to run these lines and hope that nothing awful happens while I do that. We could have screwed the pooch on this, but we'll find out. I feel confident that we can recover. But like I said, this is a textbook example of running into that vicious power circle, hoping that we don't have to worry about that. So let's go one over here. We're going to run this right in there. There we go. And then run this one just along the edge here. Boom. We'll run one more over and right in there. Okay. I try to like run along the lines with my drones while I do this. That's rough. That is rough. Okay. Is that way you don't find out that you've accidentally not been sending something into one of these guys this whole time simply because you were not paying attention and you got a little bit too far ahead of your drones, because that can definitely happen. Okay, this needs thrusters, processors, and titanium alloy. Do I have titanium alloy? I do, but I don't have very much. This is going to take stone and steel. Okay, I must be done with my foundation building. Awesome. 266, are you kidding me? All right. Oh, and I don't have any of my actual distributing hands on these guys. Let's do that. Do that. Do this. I'm actually going to grab a little bit more stone before I do that. We'll build more foundation here. Let's see what we run out of first. Looks like it's going to be stone, so we'll grab just a little bit more. Oh my god. Alright. I want to run out of steel. Perfect. Okay. Stone can go back in there. And then we'll get our little grabby hands out. There we go. Okay. Is this up yet? It's taking freaking forever. Okay. This may have been a huge mistake. Where can we start increasing our power output here? Let's go back this direction. See what we got over here. All right. Let's just add a whole nother line on the other side and start getting our fuel popping on the other side here. How do we set this up? I'm gonna slightly. Do I want to offset these? Because you don't want the hands kind of grabbing at the same interval. I think we can do this. Okay. I'm gonna collide. All right. I'm just gonna honestly immediately start dropping these and starting to fuel them up because we don't have a bunch of extra time. All right. So I'm gonna start with. Honestly, we'll just play small. Who cares? We got plenty of them. And then place them over. And let me just double check. Sometimes it can get a little bit finicky about the pass through. Okay, no, that worked okay. We'll just touch that off. All right. Let's grab. Do we have? No, we want these grabby guys. Okay. Doing just fine here. Awesome. How many more of these do we have? We still have plenty. Okay, so let's do a second row here. Kind of line up. And we'll use, again, our MK2s here. Might as well save where we can. Oops. I can get a little bit wonky. Oh, no. Okay, see, so now this one's going to complain that it is too close. Yeah, it's the grid. All right, let's pull those two out, and we'll offset them just a little bit here. honestly, like, you know, if you were producing resources, that offset might be frustrating because you're going to get a slower pass-through speed. But honestly, when you're just kind of fueling a thermal station like this, it doesn't really matter that much. It's the reason we use the MK2s instead of the MK3s, so we should be okay. All right, it's not as bad, I'll say that much. Let's see what we got going on here. We're getting there. We're getting there. You know what? Let's just put all the rest of them down. I know that once this station stops trying to fuel up, it won't be so much of an issue. But it doesn't really matter that much, I would say, to be honest. We're still going to want the extra power, and as much as I don't love burning the hydrogen, we clearly have enough to spare at the immediate time. Once we shift over to deuterium rods, we're going to be completely replacing our power structures anyways, so I'm not super concerned about it. And again, that's one of the nice things about having done this a few times. You get a better sense of kind of what your long-term strategy is going to be. That's way too far out, I can tell you that much. So there we go. Just want that little offset. I think even that one's a little bit too far offset. Flip around. All right. Yeah, so in this case, I mean, you know, I would care a lot more if I thought all this was going to be permanent. But knowing that we're going to rip it all out in, I don't know, a few hours makes me feel a lot better about it. So let's see what our power's up to now. 58. All right, getting closer. And you'll see our consumption demand came down a little bit. All right, let's meet in the middle, guys. I believe in you. How many do we have left? 6. All right, let's do one more row in here. Is this going to be close enough to give me a hard time? Awesome. Okay. You can generally go out to about 4 here. I'm sure you can probably actually go out more if you need to. But we don't need to, so I'm not going to. Boom. Boom. Ah, crap, of course. Flew too close to the sun there on our last 3. All right. And it's going to bump up right against this absurd graphite line. Why did I do that again? What was the reason? I was producing some graphite all the way down there. Oh, see, those fuel tanks aren't even running. That probably doesn't help. See, this is what I was talking about with the death spiral, is what you see is that they don't have enough power over here. How are my actual power lines looking? Oh, you know what? After all of that, I bet this was the problem. Watch this. Now we're immediately fine again. Yeah, so that was part of the problem, is that this just wasn't part of the primary power grid. So, oh well, you live and you learn. All right, so we're pulling in everything except our prisms. Why is that the case? Because I didn't put down my little grabby guys. There we go. Okay, so what's awesome about this now is that we can pull all this out here. You can actually go all the way out into space here and grab it here if you want to. And pull it right into your inventory if you need to. We don't need to, though, so we're doing okay. All right, what were we doing? Matrix lab at the pole. Awesome. Okay, so all that stuff's flowing in. You know, one thing. All right, so we're going to do matrix lab at the pole. And then I need to go build some more logistics vessels for all of my interstellar stations here. So then we can hop over to our other planet, our Alchibo 1, and take a look at what's going on over there. Poles first, though. Okay, so where's the pole that we're looking for? It's right over here. Okay, so we need to go south as the crow flies. All right, so it's right on the coast here somewhere. Okay, you know what? We might go with the close enough word. All right, let's start laying down some foundation. Cool. All right. Boom. Looks good to me. Have our interstellar station, and it's actually the reason I'm doing an interstellar. I know it's going to be more expensive, but you can run a full 5 through. Yeah, you know, actually, you can run 5 science cubes through there, but I've seen some designs actually that make me think the planetary might be a better call, especially because you're running 3 loops on the inside here, and you might want to do loops on the inside instead of the outside. Okay, got our foundation there. Do a little bit here. So there's some pretty cool things you can do with your belts around here. Oh yeah, no power, not even close. Where's our closest power? It's probably going to be over at the other station. Yeah, all right. So let's run. Of course I only have 6 of these left. All right, What do I need for these rings? Okay, so this is one area where I don't love the concept of the shopping mall, to be honest. I know a lot of other people really, really love that concept. For me, it's always been more so about kind of rushing a little bit to the interplanetary fuel stage, because that does make our interplanetary logistics station stage, because that does make life a little bit easier. But I will also say that this is the first time I've done even like a simple mall like this, and it does make life way easier. I have to kind of admit that. So, all right, this is a 2-to-1 ratio. All right, so let me grab 4 stacks of these, 1 stack of these, and we can make 200. Okay. All right, back to the pole. This might cost a little bit more energy, to be honest with you, but it's very satisfying to be able to fly just kind of like right over the cusp of your planet there. Just almost breaking orbit. I enjoy that a lot. So start running our power. I don't think you really have to min-max these, to be honest with you, especially because there's all sorts of weird stuff that's going to get in the way. So if you can, you know, that's great, but mostly I just try to look for, like in this case, we're just trying to bridge this little stream here, whatever this is. This is also another great example of somewhere where I'm probably going to rip out all these power lines shortly. We're looking for, I wonder actually if I can get it now. That might be a good question. But we want to do this satellite. Ooh, yeah, we're going to queue that up. Satellite power distribution system. It's a way, way bigger range. Makes life a lot easier. So we want these, and we want these, and we want the drones to prove it. Really? What? There we go. I think I have to just hold it slightly longer than I have been. I think that's what's throwing me off. Put these guys in there. I would like you to go out and get as many as possible. Oh, whoops. That probably means I have to change all these to demand, because that is what I am doing. Awesome. Okay, so this is going to start filling up. And what we can do here is, no belts. Oh my gosh. All right, killing me. I did automate belt production. That is something I would recommend doing. Makes life a lot easier. Where did my belts go? Whole set of them. I think they're on this side. Here we go. Okay, so it does make life a lot easier. What are we at here? 13. Keep in mind they kind of go down. Yeah. Do I have an interstellar station anywhere here where I can literally just demand them? Because I have them hooked up to an interstellar station on another planet. It's just going to make my life harder, isn't it? Okay. Do I have... do I want to drop down when we're in a interstellar station just to do it? No, I don't. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use these belts. And then when we go for the other planet, we'll just grab some more. Oh, this is another... Ah, crap. Oh, man. Yeah, so this is kind of... There's a little bit of growing pains here right now. This is kind of when I don't have my entire interstellar supply chain hooked up. It just hurts, honestly, you know. So we're going to try to build most of our matrices around here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out here. Actually, let's do this one first. I think this one can wrap around like that. Yeah, okay. We're going to pull that out, see if we can put it a little bit closer. Now it's going to collide. All right, let's just go to the other side here. And then we'll go, maybe go around, just to not totally ruin the aesthetic here. Or, as I said, we're going to replace these, so it's not the end of the world. But at least for the time being, so we can run this all the way around here. And then maybe we'll end it in there. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think it does. Okay. So then we'll run this one, go around a little bit further. And you know what? Again, I'll probably end up ripping this out eventually too, but we're at least getting something laid out. Wow, that angle is more than I expected. I probably should have known better, but whatever. It's okay. And we're going to wish we'd upgraded these to MK2s almost immediately, is my suspicion, but that's okay. I believe that all science is created equally as far as the intake for actually producing science. So I'm gonna, I think actually, I don't know. We'll put yellow on the outside, blue in the middle, and or sorry, red in the middle and blue on the outside, maybe, because I think that that's kind of how I set a tendency to go. And we can do something like this and get our little guys going. All right. Get some stacks here. These aren't quite as tight as I'd like them to be. I mean, if we went out to this layer instead, would that have been a little bit tighter? Probably. But you know what? I once you upgrade the full stacks on these, it gets kind of ridiculous. So we'll see how that goes. We can fit them all the way around to here. Nice. Actually, now I feel like an idiot. Oh, you know what? We can't do that because we need to be able to grab all three of them. So that looks solid for now. And with our grabby hands, we only have 5 of these. Can we make any more? Awesome. Okay. We'll make a few more of those, and then let's just run some power around the back. I don't love this yet. I think we're probably going to want to end up changing this once we get a little bit further. But you know what? That's a problem for another day. All right. And all these are going to be science, 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 science. I like how they kind of tint with matrix type. That's kind of cool. I don't think I've moved matrix cubes before, so that's neat to see. I like that a lot. And this will become kind of our central repository for all of these cube guys here. I think we have enough to do another row around up on the tops. Nice. Okay, so let's get our little grabbers here. I wanted to do the full speed ones, so I wanted to make sure we grab those. Where are we? Okay, there we go. We might have to get a little bit wonky with these just because of the rotation here. Normally I try to line them up so they're fitting, you know, exactly where they make sense in the right order from big to small, but this one I think we're just going to do whatever we can. I actually kind of like the pattern of, there we go. Right there. All right, we're doing it. Kind of have our little mall of science here. Carousel of progress, so to speak. All right. I mean, you know, I've done this probably thousands of times, tens of thousands of times at this point. This part of it can get a little bit tedious, obviously. I know that we don't have any sort of like blueprints yet, like Factorio has. That's definitely something that I've heard people have asked for. Like, that it would be nice, yeah, obviously. But we're getting there, hopefully. So, okay. This is actually huge for me. I have not had a steady, consistent supply of all 3 science types since we started the game, to be honest with you. So this has been really, really nice to get accomplished here and get this out of the way. Awesome. Okay, so I think it is time to go off planet. Let's pop out here a little bit. What do we have in the inventory right now? I feel like we got a lot of useless crap. Yeah, I don't think we need all this. Let's hop back over here and ditch what we don't need. I have a junk folder, essentially, over here. Let's see if I can find it. Where'd it go? I ripped so much stuff out, I don't even know where I am anymore. Okay, awesome. So we're finally making some headway on that. Here we go. Okay, it's over here. Yeah, this is my little junk treasure box here. Let's drop most of that stuff. Honestly, if I have anything that's a stack of tiny stuff and I know I have it somewhere else already, I'll just yoink it out. We have a lot of those belts. We're going to upgrade those when we go, though, so that's okay. Got a lot of those. All this stuff you kind of need, though. The oil, I don't have oil on either planet right now, so that I can ditch. I think all that I want. Oh, I had logistics vessels the whole time. Oh my god, you're killing me. Alright. Who needs logistics vessels? This is interstellar. So we'll give you 5. There's no real supply or demand of this one then, actually, though. So let's hold up. Alright. How many do we have? Well, we'll give you 5. It doesn't really matter. And I know that this one already has some because that's how I'm bringing the titanium back. This one also has 5. So that one's doing okay. Let's grab a little more titanium alloy here because this becomes useful in actually making more of these stations, specifically the interplanet. Oh, actually, hold up. Maybe I should just make the rest of the interstellar stations that I can right now. I think that's a good idea. Pull that in. And how many more can we make? 2? That's enough for me. Okay. And then we don't have any more interplanetary. That's going to be the kicker. Let's bring a few of these along with us because I know I have steel on the other planet, titanium on the other planet, and processors on the other planet. So we can make way more of these, which is honestly going to be a great feeling. Do we need this much graphite with us? No, but I've gotten stuck on that planet before without energy, and I don't want to do it again. So I'm not going to. What's getting dropped down in here? Oh, yeah, because we moved all the diamond production. Okay. Whoa. A little bit of a catch there. All right. Let's pull this. Oh, wait. Hold up. Diamonds are over here. There we go. Storage is full. All right. You know what? I'm just going to delete that. And I'm going to delete that, too. Get a little more extra space here. Ooh, yellow cube storage is low. Okay, well, that's okay. Do we need to be making more of them? It looks like we could be. So let's get those up there. Do I need to make more of those matrix labs? Where are those? They're right here. What do I need to make them? Steel, glass. You know, we could do all those. Let's save for when we get back. I don't think we need to do it immediately. I think we have a decent mix here. Is this an interstellar? It is. It has those guys. All right. Science, I don't see us needing to bring off planet, so I'm not going to bother to drop them in. Oh, that was a local one anyways, wasn't it? So I don't have to worry about it. So I think the only other interplanetary one is this one over here. Let's just drop back into the atmosphere. So we'll get you. Where do they go? Okay. There we go. Those materials I can definitely see us wanting to use on other planets. We're going to have to make some titanium glass in the not so distant future. And that I know needs glass and titanium. It might, we actually are going to want to use that to make, where did it go? Oh no, it's this thing. So we need to make wave function interference because we need it for quantum chips because we need that for Greek cubes. So I know it's the not so distant future at this point. Let's queue some more stuff up. Honestly, yeah. Now that we have our yellow going, let's get all this stuff queued. We're gonna want all of it. Interesting thing on the miniature particle collider. So you may think that this is the best way to make deuterium, and on my second run through, I also thought that thing. This is in fact not true. Skystorm has a really interesting video on this where he actually does the math out. Props to him for doing that. He does the math out on this, and he's found out that it's actually faster to use the fractioners. You see, where did those go? No, it's not cracking. Where am I going crazy here? Where did those guys go? Oh, okay, there we go. These deuterium fractionators, these can actually end up going a lot faster if you're using MK3 belts. There's a way to do it that he's shown, and so I'm more than happy to demo that on this stream as well. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at that, because that's going to be our primary deuterium production format, and we should be good to go. Ooh, nice. Okay, we got the new satellite power. I love those. How do we have to make those? Okay, so we actually have a fair amount of those. Oh, hey, we get to actually use our glass delios. Okay, so that's going to need the super magnetic rings and the frame material. So because I have not built Dyson spheres before, I have not actually mass produced the frame material. So that'll be a fun one. But I do need to make the super magnetic rings. And I have all the stuff set up for those. I just haven't done that yet. So are we ready for our trip? I feel good about where we're at. I think we're doing okay. We're not building anything. We have these. We might want another interstellar logistics station at the other planet. So I think we're doing okay. We have a ton of our logistics drones. We have one logistics vessel. I'd like to build some more while we're there. So we're bringing our alloy along. When we can build more planetary logistics stations when we get there, I think we're in a good spot, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's see where we are. Ooh, it's even relatively close. I love it when that happens. Oh, we're facing right at it. We should be able to see it. There we go. All right, let's do blast off here. Okay, so I've heard a lot of people struggled with spaceflight, and yeah, I too have had to reload a fair amount of saves, or auto saves rather, from mess ups here. But once you get the hang of it, it can actually be a lot easier than you might think. So W is going to orient you to just whatever your mouse is focused on. That's key. It's key, rather. Shift speeds you up. S slows you down. And S costs half the amount of energy that it used to. So they've helped out with that a lot. And one other thing that I haven't heard people mention as much is the space bar. Helps you kind of push away from your own planetary gravity as you're leaving. So I found that to be helpful to use as well. I also just run right into the planet, honestly. You know, unless you really miss it, you don't run into issues there. All right, so let's go. Yeah, so you can see this, like, I practically have an equatorial wind farm belt at this point going on here. But let's go towards the pole, and then we'll take it from there. So I'm going to pop up here, and you'll see this planet has a ton of titanium, a ton of copper. It's got everything. It's New York's hottest club, frankly. Literally, actually, as case may be. Okay, so you'll see kind of what I had going on here, and let me explain to you why this didn't work. So actually, I'm doing okay right now in terms of my graphite production here, but you'll see that I'm not really gaining anything, and I actually stocked this up the last time I was here with, I think, more than is currently in there, so I'm going to put a little bit more in. We'll maybe check it before we leave and see what's going on. But essentially, what I found is that my graphene production cannot keep up with the amount of power stations I have here. So you'll notice that, again, the power capacity is a little absurd here compared to how much the consumption capacity is. That actually feels pretty low. So my suspicion is that I've maxed out on a lot of the things I was producing here, and they're not drawing power right now. I also have the solar panels here on the poles. It's working just great, and these solar panels are killing it because of the intensity on this planet. So that's also really nice, is that these solar panels are actually doing way better than if you click on one of these bad boys. Yeah, so only 70% strength. So going wind versus solar on this planet, not the absolute smartest idea, but it ended up working out okay for me. And we're obviously not worrying with any power issues on this planet right now. Actually, long term, what I'd like to be able to do is go... nice. Okay, particle control. What I'd like to be able to do is go to Algebra 1. Access. Right now, I have, again, you know, I think 100 solar panels on that planet producing all sorts of energy that I can't export off planet. So what I'd like to do is create a lot of these batteries, right? These energy accumulators, and actually ship them using the interstellar logistics system, and then get that power from this little energy exchanger here. So this is something where you can actually fill your accumulators with energy, ship them to another planet, and then release that energy. So this allows you to transport electricity between planets. What I would like to do is turn our lovely tidal locked day planet here into an energy production system, and then export that energy to both Algebra 1 and Algebra 4. Is this, you know, do you have to do this? No, I'm going to be honest with you. Deuterium is so OP right now in this patch that I would frankly just export deuterium rods instead. I think that's a lot easier. But, you know, it's just cool. It's cool. I wanted to be able to use a tidal locked planet, and this is how we're doing it. So we're going to try this export of energy because I haven't done it before. And we'll build the deuterium. Deuterium's easier to take with you when you're actually leaving the solar system and setting up new planets. But we'll get there when we get there. Okay, so you can see my titanium production factory here. We got all these little guys on there. We're running our titanium directly into our planetary logistics station here. And this is running it out to our interstellar logistics station that's a little bit around the planet. And then we'll see our graphite production section. And this is exactly where you'll see the problem I ran into. So I'm sure there's a way that you could cram a few more of these around here, but if you just look at, I mean, they're working as fast as they can, and it's just not enough, frankly. It's not enough. So you can see even some of my reactors here, or smelters, are not operating. We did the best that we could, but it's just not going to be enough, and this is the only coal deposit on the planet, like I said. So if you hop out here, you can see 5.99 G. This is the whole 5.99 right here in 6 coal veins. So that kind of sucks, honestly. But, oh well, we had to look into alternate power sources, and we have found them. Okay, so we looked at that. All right, so let's come over here. So I have a little bit of a theory in terms of how it makes sense to make some of these things. I try to localize single-use items and then distribute multi-use items. So in this case, like these rings, these only go into magnetic coils and supermagnetic rings. I am going to make both of those things on this planet. I have no need to ship these interplanetary. So I make them in one place. We make all of them, and then they get moved directly to the coil and supermagnetic ring facilities. For something like this, electric motors you use for a variety of different things. We might want to make our water pumps off planet. Honestly, you probably don't need to automate water pumps, but something like the sorter, you definitely want to. So because this has a variety of uses, this I want to be able to ship off planet if I need to. So you'll kind of notice this is actually plates and gears over here. Gears are actually another good example, I think, of something that only goes into one or two things. Oh, nope, I totally lied. These would be good to get off planet, actually. I wonder if I am doing that. So over here, actually, rather, is you'll see I have a completely separate pipeline for the rings. It's separated from my steel, or it's not steel, what is this? Iron ingots, I think, right? So I have two completely separated iron supply chains for those two separate types of materials. We have copper and rings feeding into our magnet type situation here, and then those are feeding into this much longer chain of electric motors and the upgraded motors here. So we have a bunch of motors. You'll notice that the reason that the energy draw here is so low is because we are not producing any of these things. We are maxed up on these things. This is my interstellar station, so it's actually pulling in our titanium and sending it off planet. I'm not using titanium anywhere over here. Oh, hold up. We have a whole interstellar system right over here that I just did not set up. Okay, well, that seems easy to fix. Let's throw some power on it and figure out what we were planning on doing here. It looks to me like we wanted to use our microchips and our these guys. What are these? Ooh, titanium glass. These are processors. We wanted to get these off planet is the look of things to me. Microchips we actually already have on our other planet, but you know what? It's never a bad idea to have multiple sources, and it looks like we're also producing high-quality silicon here as well. Oh, these guys. We want to get these guys off planet. These I don't have anywhere. Actually, let me double-check. Do we want to do that? The only thing that we make with these are processors, so I actually take that back. I'm just going to pull the processors off planet. You know what I do not like, though, is the way that this is set up, because I'm going to have to cross lines if I want to be able to pull this out, which I don't love doing. What are we not getting enough of? We are not getting enough of these guys. All right. Well, first things first, let's upgrade these. See if that helps at all. What is this complaining about? Lack of material. Yeah, this... You should probably just stay and check after you build something, right? Double check to make sure that it all works. You didn't forget an arm or a leg somewhere. That sucks. You hate to see that. I've been running this for, you know, probably 4 or 5 hours, and there's a reason that we're not gaining here. That being said, though, you can see that I clearly planned for this line to go out further, and I didn't know how many of these I'd need. I think I can now safely say I need more than I have. So I'm gonna use the rest of our MK2 builders to just build it out. I'm sure this is actually here. No, that's probably way too many. Let's back it up a little bit. All right, pulling everything in. I know that you can copy these and shift with your shift key and copy them over, but honestly, like the copying of the recipe is the easiest part for me, so I don't really find that to be helpful. I also, since this isn't holding anything, let's rework all of this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. And we're actually going to send it all down here all the time. All right, start there, go there, boom. Okay. I may have to, I don't know why I used the 3s on these. They definitely don't need 3s. So let's pull those off. And that way we can reuse those for better thing. Ah, great. Okay. Actually, okay. So I built this nice little half bridge here. I don't know if you guys have seen this before. You can go back to, again, this is another one from Sky. It's a really helpful tip here. You want to go back 2 from the starting spot and then actually just cut that down by 2. And then now you can start at that specific endpoint and just keep going. And you kind of have like a half level bridge right there. It's pretty nice. And I think now I can do it on this side. Boom, good to go. Okay. So then we're going to put this sorter on that far side there so we don't run into any issues. Do all of our sorters here, and everything's going to be popping out onto the right. And I'll actually do that just so I can get those two back. Okay, everyone has the right input. Just have to assign the recipe. So there's shortcuts to assign the recipes, and I don't see that as being substantially harder than just copying, doing the shift copy there. So I honestly usually wait and just copy everything at the end. I don't know if that's a better idea or not, but that's how I've been doing it. So cool. All right, so we run power out everywhere. Everything looks like it's actually functioning properly. Everything is outputting properly. Everything has enough resources coming in. All right, feeling good about this. And we'll just leave that there. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so already looking like we're going to have maybe a silicon issue here. Do we want to upgrade this belt to an MK3? Well, let's wait a second and see if this actually runs out of silicon. Yep, see, it's rebunching. So I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so what we should hopefully see. Perfect, that's what we wanted to see. All right, you notice that, again, a lot of this is MK2s, so it's not perfect, or sorry, MK1s, but whatever. I don't know if this is going to be enough microchips, and we may end up regretting this, but I'm going to run, actually, you know what we'll do? Let's run it around the back, and then let's go up and over, just in case we want to build more of these guys in the future. It'll be a little inconvenient, but not nearly as inconvenient as it could be. So we're going to run this down here. And, ooh, Casimir crystals. Those are a pain in the ass, I'll tell you right now. Those are not always a fun time to have to build. We're going to put those in there. Cool. All right, so we are doing it. I think what we want to do here is actually split this a little bit. We're going to put in a splitter because what I don't want to do is take from this line to go into here, but I do want to make sure that we send off our excess. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's open this up, shift click that, and put that in there because I don't need that for anything. And why are we now all cut up again? What's going on here? Oh, okay. Yep, it's because we're not making anything over there. We will be shortly. You know what? Nope, it's because I didn't put any little grabbers on there. That would help. There we go. That's going to now empty out faster than it's pulling in. So let's do that. Get a second grabby right here. All right, and I think we're running out of belts. Actually, we have run out of belts. So how about we make some more of those? All right, we need those guys. We can start a few, but I think we're gonna have to pop back up here. So yeah, I've localized all of my these little guys. I don't know what these are called. There's essentially like the 3 variants, you know. These guys, I clearly have just a insane amount of these up here. These can be really necessary for both your arms and your belts in the mid game, and just knowing how valuable they are, honestly, is just easier. Do a huge setup when you can. You're gonna appreciate it later. These can be really hard to scale if you don't do it originally, and it just becomes a real pain. So I find it a lot easier to overproduce the first time around, right? Okay, so now we're gonna see a ton of these. And don't have these yet, so that's probably the next thing that I'm gonna have to do over here. Is we're gonna have to build out this third level of the rings. I have the rings on planet. I have these right here, but I didn't have enough energetic graphite. We're actually probably gonna want to demand that here. I'm gonna set my supply down at 1200, and we're gonna do a remote demand because I know that we have some of that on our other planet. That is up for grabs, so we can do that. We do not need 31 logistic drones here. Let's put that in up to 20 maybe, and then we'll pull 5 off here, put that back. Let's give it 25. Again, I don't know if 25 is the right number or not, but that's what we're rolling with. Okay, let's split that in. No, split in half. Why are we doing this, guys? What is going on? Okay, I have to select the whole stack. Maybe that's my problem. I can't pick it up. I have to just select it. Drop one. Pop that in there. And we will put our last ship in there. There we go. Ooh, ship. Should I be making more of those? Yes. Have our titanium. We have our computer chips. We'll actually grab a few more of those. And then we're just going to need these guys, which, okay, cool. We have our titanium alloy. We just need our little motors over here. We are good to go. Okay. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Much better. Okay, how many of these can we make? 21. What are we running out of? Probably titanium, right? No, actually, that's a relief. I don't have a mass-produced titanium alloy. What is this? Yeah. So this one can be a little tricky. We're not mass-producing it right now. We should, but the sulfuric acid can be a little tricky to route into the right place. So that's why we've been waiting. Now we are... Oh, you know what it is? It takes 5 to make these, so you actually need 20 bars here and 10 bars here. So we don't have enough titanium alloy to make both the 10 bars that we need here for the for the logistics vessel and both the engines. So we are out, but that's okay. We're gonna throw that back in. Oh my good lord, I don't know which one of these I went in. Can I put it in here? Doesn't need any more. All right, we're just gonna ditch it. There we go. Okay, so we'll have a fair amount more of these. Was it like 25-ish? Okay, cool. That was totally useless to have researched, but you know, we have it now, so that's good, I guess. Oh, and we can do some more of these. Let's do our information matrix. Interesting. It doesn't actually require any yellow cubes at all. That's odd. And then strange matter. Yeah, we're getting into the crazy stuff now. I also haven't done gas giant exploitation yet. I probably should, to be honest with you. I don't even know what the gas giant in our solar system produces. Ooh, fire ice. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. Fire ice is helpful. They're part of the alternative for graphene. I am making enough graphene at this point that this isn't really a problem, but it's nice to have an alternate source. Maybe there are people who have more of these rare resources on their starting planets or in their starting solar systems, but especially for gas giants, I mean, you have to get all the way. If you look at the tech tree, I mean, you have to get all the way down here. So chances are you probably have already produced graphene right here at some point already, mass produced it. So it's kind of nice to have fire ice unless you have it on your native like planet itself, which I think is possible. I have a feeling that you already have mass produced anything that needs it, so might not be as helpful as you think. Okay, so we came down here to get all that set up. We now have a nice flow of our logistics in here. We have a decent amount of things going on over here. Why are we not pulling in graphite? We have a remote demand for it. I don't see any of it showing up here. Why is that? Wish I could go and actually zoom in on this planet and see what's going on over here, but I do not think you can do that. So we might just fly back really quickly. Is there anything we want to take with us? I don't think so. I mean, we can always take some more titanium, but we have that. Nope, that was the big thing we had to take previously. But now we have our titanium all set up. We don't have to worry about it. Oh, we forgot to prioritize. There we go. Prioritize that line. But that was causing us issues. Not really. But that'll let this all stack up, and then we'll be able to just send all the excess into here. And we're already producing silicon on the other planets, so it's not really that big of a deal. Okay, so I'm probably going to hop back over to the other planet, see what's going on with this graphene. Once we get that sorted out, I'm going to take a quick break. We've been going for almost 2 hours at this point. Gotta grab some food. If you stop by and you're enjoying what you're seeing or have any recommendations, please let me know. I know we've had a ton of you here, but I appreciate that. This is the first time I streamed this, so if there's anything else you'd like to see, or if you potentially want to start an entirely new game and we can start from scratch on the same seed maybe and see what's going on, totally open to that too. So just let me know what you think would be fun, and I'm happy to accommodate. So I'm going to hop over to this other planet and grab that graphene, and then I think probably next time we will focus on making these bad boys, because I know that these factor a lot into our purple cubes as soon as we unlock them. We need these guys for purple cubes, I know. Let me see. It's going to show us what you need for them. Okay, purple cubes. You actually only need the processors and this particle broadband. We don't produce this currently, I believe, the carbon nanotube. This is one case where actually finding this spiniform crystal would be really valuable, but that's okay. We have all these things anyways. We have a ton of graphene and a ton of titanium, so we should be in a good place to push into purple pretty quickly, actually. And purple's going to unlock all sorts of fun stuff in this area to get us to green and traveling outside of our solar system, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay, what am I doing? I'm just clicking buttons at this point. I don't think that's productive. All right, let's top off. Oh, that's another good point. We are close enough to make deuterium fuel rods. We should probably make these next, and then we can make these fuel rods. The question will be, do we want to make these fuel rods on planet by shipping sulfuric acid over here so we can build out our titanium alloy here? My suspicion is yes, because 2 out of the 3 of the ingredients we need, or input resources rather, for this titanium alloy do exist on this planet. I think it'd be a lot easier to ship our sulfuric acid here, produce the alloy here, and then make it available from an interstellar perspective, and actually ship it back to our home planet to create these fuel rods. I think the fuel rods on the home planet make way more sense just because hydrogen is there. You need hydrogen to create deuterium, and it's just a lot easier to do on planet. So we will in fact be shipping 2 of the 3 ingredients back. That could potentially be a compelling reason to not do what I just said and do it the other way. So we'll have to make that call when we get there. But I'm going to go figure out why we're not getting any of this graphite, and then we can take a break. Okay, so we want to go. There's Alchiba 2 and Alchiba 3 and 4 over there. I think they're somewhere over there. We're just gonna, we're just gonna hop into space and take a look for them there. There we go. All right, just pop up real quick, and then over. Oh, it's so close. It does make life a lot easier when Alchiba 4 is this close. Maybe we should make some of our gas giant extractors for our gas giant. It's a lovely shade of blue, isn't it? I have to say, the one on my second game that I've played a fair amount of, it was more of a dirty brown, and I really do enjoy this kind of teal color. It's nice to see in the sky. We have unlocked our purple matrix, so we are good to go on that. It looks like we already have a healthy processor construction lineup going on there. Oh, I slowed down a little bit. All right, there we go. All right, all that stuff's going in. Nice. We're going to have silicon out the wazoo. We're doing just fine on that. And yep, that's totally clogged up. So these crystal silicon would have a ton of those bad boys. Everything else seems to be flowing in nicely. You'll notice that I split up this one stone pile into a lot of stuff. I haven't ever needed massive quantities of any of this, so that may change in the future. Maybe totally off base with that, but we'll see how it goes. My suspicion is that I put my graphene into a planetary station and did not set up an interstellar station to actually send it across the heavens. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Okay, so that's just a planetary. It's not an interplanetary, which means that I'm not actually exporting graphite off planet. Do I just, it's going to be a pain, but honestly, I might just turn this into an interplanetary one. It's annoying to have it right next to this one, but I don't have any available slots, to the best of my recollection, in an interplanetary setup. I know that I'm going to need interplanetary capabilities for, all right, so sulfur I have, but I'm going to have to send in that alloy. This could potentially be a good place to do that, so I'm just going to bite the bullet here. It's not going to let me disable that, so I'm going to have to throw up a few chests here so that I can take all this stuff out. First thing I'm going to do is just disable anything entering. That's what you want to do first. This yellow, even yellow, honestly, I'm gonna disable, because we'll let it just kind of chunk up there a little bit, and that's okay. It's gonna pull all that out. So let's grab all this, dump it. Whoops, no, I want to close that. Pull all of it. It's not gonna let me do that, huh? Oh, whoops, I just have to actually select all of it and not be an idiot. There we go. That was actually way easier than I thought it would be. Select all of that, dump it right here. Wow, I thought that would take up way more chests than it did. All right, so let's peel these back just a little bit. And then we can put in an interstellar station right here. Youth Foundation report. Lovely. All right, foundational support we have. Let's see if we can line it up with our existing. There we go. All right, I'm sure it's going to need power, which will be a pain. There we go. Oh, we have so much freaking belt resources now. That is nice. Okay. Graphite. It's actually not going to matter because we're going to... Oh, my lord. All right. Close that. There we go. Dump it all in. Oh, actually, this is going to be nice because we did not actually have the full amount previously because we were using the smaller one. So that's now taking all of those resources off-site. What was even coming? Ah, crap. I'm not going to remember what was coming out of here. Oh, wait. But I'll actually... It's whatever is powering... Oh, it was the diamonds. Okay. No, thank you. There we go. I have those going out. Our yellow cubes going in. We are in good shape here. Let's just grab the rest of our little diamonds over here. Oh my god. One of these days I'm not going to make that mistake, but it's not today. There we go. Okay. So we got everything going in. We should have our graph. There we go. We can see our graphite is now being taken off planet, and it's being used to supply an interstellar demand here. Something that's nice about this, you'll notice there aren't even any ships in here. There are no ships, no little logistics drones, nothing. But the ships at the logistics vessels, rather, at the other location, no, to come in and grab these. So I'll put maybe just 4 of these guys in here. Interesting. Yeah, same deal with the logistics drones. They're already coming over to grab these. So we probably don't even need to put anyone in here, but, you know, can't hurt, honestly. I, again, have a tendency to just overproduce. It's a lot easier to do that, especially with logistics drones, where it can be pretty frustrating not to have them where you want them. I think it's easier to do that. So, okay. I'm going to take a quick break. I may be on there today. I may not be. I apologize if you're trying to consistently watch. That's probably going to make your life harder. If you would rather watch this content on YouTube, let me know. I'm personally not a huge Twitch guy to watch replays. Personally, I'll watch something live on Twitch all day. But in terms of replays, I prefer going over to YouTube. So if you've enjoyed this content and you want to potentially, I wouldn't want you to watch it again. Potentially, it's been almost 2 hours. But if you think it would be easier to watch other streams on YouTube instead, I'm happy to shift them over there. So just let me know what your thoughts are, and we'll catch back up later. All right. Take it easy, everyone. Let me see if I can. There we go. Okay, just have to get my my mouse back over to my streaming software here. Take it easy, and thanks for joining me. Appreciate it.